Hello and welcome to today's edition of Cryptic. Today we're going to work through the normal times cryptic crossword and see how we get on. And I think as an extra vlog today, Mark's planning to do a review of the championship, and in particular the clues that he found most interesting or most troubling. I don't think he found any too troubling, but I think that'll certainly be worth a look later on. So without further ado, let's go. Cryptic. Okay, silly clowning around outside back of heart. So, looks like an anagram of outside and T. So that's fuse. It's the homophone. So it's not an anagram of outside and T. Rudely cursed at first by a French climber nursing injury, goodness knows, very rarely performing a nice varied 1930s song. Once in a blue moon. What a convict won't do for a budgie. City done leaving capital to provide material. Okay, that's nigh for the city New York, and London without its don. Keep new judge in the same cricket side. Is that donjon? NJ in the same, which is ditto, and then on for a cricket side, as in on and off. Partly for a, I think there is a plant called a rash. I don't know if that's said correctly, but I think there is. Former tax on a type of neckwear. An ascot is a type of tie, and Scott is an old tax. This looks like Jack something, with a jack of all trades. Go. Scholar, one barely recognisable outside. Nudist, looks like naturalist, is it? Naturist outside, AL. Okay. So Highland Scots verbal report of foresight about gale. I think that's what this is after. So it's a word that sounds like a gale force wind, and that looks like neighbour without even it is. It's an anagram. So fill that one in. Let's have a look at this. Doctor attending like inventory member. Well, one of the abbreviations for doctor is MB, so limb looks like it's a member. I did look at that one, didn't get it. Let's get this one. Fuddy-duddies, worry, seeing canvas on yard. Fuddy-duddies. Noisy argument. Completely unknown person giving us support. All. And an unknown is going to be X, Y, or Z. And here, if we make it Y, we get somebody giving us support. Performer from Utah, welcomed by a one-time city worker. Don't know. A scam involving introduction of ripe. It's an acorn, so that's a con around R. Proper woman retiring as governess. So, slightly more unusual word perhaps for some, so it's Jew plus a reversal of Anne. Liberal leader, so this is Landau, which is another, I suppose it's a crossword word we see from time to time. I don't know how common it is in the normal way of life. Old Italian poet, sons immersed in Chinese way of life. Tasso. Sons for double S. C about specialised knowledge. Low is to see, and then RE is about, so a couple of abbreviations there. Escape of liquid ultimately damages sacking. Escape of liquid damages sacking. Stores investing pounds in standard baked foods. Baked food. I should be able to get that, but can't. Alcoholic drink. Boozer finally concealed in coat. Variety of conifers connected with court. Looks like an anagram, isn't it? Is it forensic? Oh, is this drainage, tillage? Account Cassandra. So CA is an abbreviation for a chartered accountant. Then you've got the S from the apostrophe S, followed by the name of a girl, or woman's Sandra. And then reference to classical story. A bird which nests in Northern University Church. A nuthat. Northern University. Which is that in the middle of NU and CH there, so that's quite a difficult wordplay. Right, performer from Utah welcomed by one-time city worker. Why can't I see what that is? Stores investing pounds in standard baked. I have to go back up here, I think. I really want this to be footling. Is a footling of someone who's silly? If this was an L, what a convict won't do for a budgie. Well, bird is a word that means prison sentence, so songbird, cage bird. Figure in role of Duke. Having noisy argument. Okay, in role of Duke. Qua is in the capacity of in Latin. Duke is D, and then a wrangle sounds like wrangle with a W at the start. Wow, not easy. So fuddy-duddies are squares, so let's put square in. Seeing canvas on yard. Fuddy-duddies. Worry. It's not square. It must be performer. Executant. Ek we talked about yesterday. Utah, IUT, worker. Good lord, that is convoluted. Wow. Okay, let's go back over here. Rudely cursed at first by a French. Well, a French, I like for that. Climber, nursing injury. Rudely cursed at first. Rudely climber. Uncivilly. Ill inside ivy at the end of that one. Unknown in C stream, one child's first alphabet. Cyrillic, perhaps? Let's have a look. In C stream, a stream is a rill. Unknown, we've got the Y again for unknown. One child, one, and then the C. So, again, there's some very interesting word as lovebird. Yes, I suppose a convict won't enjoy his sentence. And this looks like it's footling, which I'm afraid is a word I'm not familiar with. But I think it is. I can't think of anything else it could be there. Silly. Footling or something, is it? Is that how? I don't know. Stores investing pounds in standard baked food. Stock. Stores. Stockpiles. So that's maybe just about to see that. So this is spillage now. Ultimately damages and then pillage for sacking. Okay. So we're left with this one. Fuddy-duddies worry seeing canvas on yard. Fuddy-duddies. Square sale. Ah, yes, okay, I think that's right. Let's see if that's correct, and then we can talk about a couple of the clues. Oh dear. Yeah, okay. So, let's have a think about this. There was a strange mixture in this puzzle of the sort of very immediate write-in with some quite interesting vocabulary and some incredible sort of bitty wordplay where we had to put together, I think in some cases there were 4 different elements of wordplay. So looking back at 22 across, performer from Utah welcomed by one-time city worker. So you've got one-time X, city, ek. We talked about that yesterday. I said that cities very commonly, especially old cities, are either going to be UR, or ek, EC. Utah is then abbreviated to UT, and that's being welcomed by this string of X, ek, and ant for worker, as in a worker ant, and the whole thing being a performer, an executant. So very unusual actually to find 4 different wordplay elements in one word. And then here, at 15 across, we had 3 different ones with quite a tricky qua at the start. And definitely not easy. But then on the other hand, we had some fairly simple stuff too. I mean, Arash was a write-in just because it was hidden and a fairly clear one, and then I think all of the 4-letter answers, unless I'm missing one, were all very, very simple. I don't know if that was deliberate. So 24 across, again, C about specialised knowledge, 4 letters. Well, you know, once you get familiar with crosswords, low for C is very common, and RE for about is yeah, I mean, that is also extremely standard. So if you can imagine, once you've got those standard forms into your brain, you read that clue and immediately it shouts law at you as the first thing you think of, and therefore, you know, it's very quick to write this in. And even the ones that were slightly let's have a look at 25 down again. So alcoholic drink, boozer finally. Okay, well that screams R, the last letter of boozer. Concealed in coat. Now 3-letter words for coat. Well, the first thing that I think of anyway is a Mac. So again, it was one of those that it didn't require us to go beyond the very first synonym we think of. Yeah, I don't know whether this was deliberate, because some of the other stuff in here was a lot more tricky. You know, Donjon, is that a familiar piece of vocabulary? I don't know, perhaps it is. Again, we've got the ditto there, which is, I mean, you see it from time to time, but that's not ubiquitous. What else did I like in this puzzle? Yeah, the Duena-Landau crossing, I think it'll be fine for people used to doing times crosswords, but for new solvers, that could be absolutely brutal. Because a governess for a duenna. I don't know how common a word that is. Let's assume you didn't know it. Can you get it from the wordplay if you aren't used to the rest of it? It's not that easy. Proper for due is, yeah, it's obviously a synonym, but is it the first thing you think of when you try and find a short synonym for the word proper? I don't know. And then woman, a three-letter woman, well, there are a lot of those, so that's not too straightforward. So probably the way you get that is by knowing the word for governess and backing into it, which I'm lucky enough to do, or to know. Yeah, as I say, if you don't know that, that's tricky. And then that's crossing Landau at 28 across. So liberal leader, well, that's fine. That screams L. With a posh four-wheeled carriage. Well, so you've got with for and there, then A as plain text, and then posh for U. U is often used as an abbreviation for posh in crosswords. I think if you look up U in the dictionary, you'll find some reference to the top social class or something about the dictionary here. Let's just double check exactly what it says. We go upper class, socially acceptable. That's what it says. So something that's non-new is the opposite. Yeah, so, and then we've got, oh, I should check footling as well. Let's just have a quick look at that and see whether it's footling. It probably is. I vaguely think there is a word to footle, which the dictionary will now probably prove me wrong about. So footle, yes, to trifle, waste time, or potter, silly nonsense. And then as a noun or an adjective, you've got footling. So that's what's going on there. So footling, disregard that, forget I ever said it, and think about footling as you're waiting for Mark's video later on. And we'll see you next time on Cracking the Cryptic.
Without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own,